Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Power Hour podcast. This is your weekly edition of AEW Power Hour. I am Jordan, as always, joined by my friend Luke. How are you, Luke?
Yeah, I'm alright.
I feel like it's been a pretty good week in wrestling. Nothing major has happened, of course, but you know, it's been pretty solid. Been pretty solid.
I don't know. Sting wrestled again. Well, I wrestled.
And he actually did decently. Let's be true.
He didn't wrestle. He had a fight.
Yeah. But should I tell you what? It's probably the best that Sting has looked in a long time. So we'll get to that in a minute. So we're gonna cover, as always. If you don't know, we cover AEW Dynamite and Rampage here every week. We also cover NXT on NXT Power Hour episodes. You can see the first one of those right now on the channel. And then this week at some point, you should be getting pay-per-view reviews as well, because we've got SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver. So we've got a lot of content this week, because we then have All Out next weekend as well. Please, if you're looking forward to that content and want to hear our opinions, please subscribe. And then without further ado, Luke, let's get into Dynamite first.
Yeah, so did anything happen at the beginning? I don't think anything happened. Mox and Kingston making their way down to the ring, and then they got attacked by 2.0, and then and then this is what led into the beginning of the Texas Tornado match between Sting, Darby Allin, and 2.0. And 2.0 are fucking awesome.
Yeah, they are.
I really like 2.0.
And also, I'll just say something. I really enjoyed this more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I always struggle with matches like this. Because they're not really my jam too much. I tend to lose interest in them a bit.
Yeah.
But it was fine. I didn't really have a problem with it.
I feel like I'm getting to the point now where any time that Darby Allin's in the ring, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm in.
Well, kind of, yeah. I actually wanted to see Darby Allin in the ring, was my thing.
True,
I want to see more Darby, less Sting, a little bit sort of thing. Not necessarily less Sting, but less Sting being the focal point.
Because let's give Sting some credit. I do actually think he did well here. I think he did do well, and he did better than some other older wrestlers that still keep going.
Yeah, I mean that is the thing. Being paired with Darby and
and a great tag team in 2.0 as well.
Yeah, exactly. They're very good at pairing them up with people that are just very good, and they can do what should be done. You should hide the weaknesses, and you should accentuate the positives.
Sting might scuffle with somebody else soon, but we'll get to that later on.
Maybe. But yeah, this was fine. Sting didn't win with that double bloody scorpion. I was like, okay, I get it, but it looks shit.
And also, they said he's never done it before. He has
definitely done it before. I've seen him do it a bunch of times. He did it in Impact. To be fair, they did actually correct themselves.
Did they?
Did. Yeah. He made me be like, I think, like straight after, I was like, okay, I'll let you go for that one. I as much as I was like, oh, that was a stupid end. Like, it would have been cool if Darby had dropped it, or Darby did it as well.
One match though probably sum up Dynamite this week, where Dynamite wasn't exceptional this week, but it was still fine. It was still good enough, right?
To be fair, I think just looking back, like scrolling back, Dynamite was very good,
but everyone was waiting for something else.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. This was a better than average Dynamite, I think, actually.
Yeah, for sure. So what else did we have following this?
So we had Guevara versus Spears, which
I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this one. Okay.
Can Sean Spears just please win it back? I like Sean Spears.
I get why he didn't win this one though.
I would have liked him to win.
Really?
Yeah. Because I really think this feud could keep going, because I think they're both
they're excellent. When they did that spot where they both jumped up to the top rope,
at
the same time, that was great.
Yeah. I don't know. I fully get that this is Spears' position and this is what he's here to do. Because I'm sure he's doing like training and stuff like that. Because
I feel like AEW are quite good though at this is his position right now, but they could quite easily play it into a story thing later down the line.
I mean, in fairness, compared to what he was getting at WWE, at least he's on bloody TV and he's showing that he's actually bloody good at what he does.
Because it's not always about wins and losses in wrestling.
And to be fair, I know he said that he wasn't really looking at getting back into wrestling straight away, but I really think he and I forget his real name, but Breeze would make a pretty cool tag team. I think they would be an awesome kind of
for sure. It's his real name is Matt something.
Clement, something like that.
Yeah. He was actually on Up Up Down Down again the other day, which was.
I think he's done though.
Interesting.
I think he's done now.
Yeah, I think it was like one final appearance, right?
Yeah,
or
I think
something.
so. I'm not sure. I mean, it
would be a weird situation. It would be a weird situation if they contracted him just for Up Up Down Down. Like, but that is also something I could see happening. I don't know.
But he's got his own thing with Spears as well now, though.
True.
He's got Sweets. He's gone back to doing his own thing.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed this match. I would have enjoyed it more. Oh, they do. I would have enjoyed it more if Spears won. Because I think
you just want him to win, right?
I just want him to win something. With like
do you know what? All I want him
like
to do.
Well, I think
it will never happen because chair shots to the head are a thing. But I just kind of want him to rampage everybody with a chair, like all the time. Just make him an animal. Make him somebody who actually destroys people with the chair.
Other than the fact he doesn't win, I have zero problem with everything Spears is doing.
True.
I think his character, I think his work with everyone else. Oh, you know what? I figured it out. He should win the trios to attack with FTR, because that would be him, FTR, and Tully. That would be the manager with the trios. That'd be sick. But yeah, Guevara won that match. Very good match. Loved that match. Fantastic.
Yeah, and his new fiance was in the crowd,
which is also kind of why I wanted him to lose, because it was like,
there could have been a real story thing there, right? Yeah, there could have been a real.
But then like the promo Spears cut on his missus, like thought was it was so deliciously evil. I love Spears. He's great. Dan Lambert came back, and I don't care.
I couldn't care less because they didn't do anything here.
I don't actually know who he is.
So he's the owner of America Top Team, I believe, which is basically something to do with MMA.
Right.
He's a huge he's a huge wrestling fan, and he's connected very heavily to the UFC.
Sure.
Because initially I thought, maybe it is cool. Maybe they will use him to actually bring in a former UFC competitor as a wrestler. And I think that might be where it still goes.
Kind of like NXT were doing with Diamond Mine, to have a faction.
Yeah.
That are built like that. Because
he's
a good talker.
He is a good talker. Yeah,
I just have no clue who he is, so I really struggled.
Yeah, when you don't know, it's hard to connect, right?
And then when like Lance Archer came out, I was like, okay, cool.
So him and Archer have been having a bit of a.
Yeah, didn't he like attack him the last time he came?
Yeah.
Cool.
But then I just don't understand what the purpose of this was, because they actually built up Dan Lambert being there and coming with these two former UFC guys, and then they did nothing other than talk.
Yeah, I don't know. I do wonder if this leads to like some kind of faction or some kind of team,
because obviously Archer came out and he did get attacked, but not by the people we necessarily expected.
He got attacked by Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, two people who should be doing other things than being in a pointless tag team that are doing nothing, because they are far too talented for that.
Yeah, both of them individually.
Yeah, like, what happened? Like, Scorpio Sky was getting this big push. He won that brass ring, Sonic ring donut thingy. and now
Sonic ring.
he's just gone away. Like, there's a lot you could do with him.
Have him
But he's not
throw
even
the
on.
ring
Like,
at people.
I've started watching like Dark and Dark Elevation. Not religiously, but I've started watching it, and I haven't seen him on there. Like,
no,
it's a shame.
It's weird. I do, because I think they're getting to the place where they don't have time for everybody, but also to be secure in your product, you need to be in that place roster wise where you don't quite have time for everyone.
I mean,
just in case something does happen.
Sure, they also have 4 shows now, so
that's true.
I'm sure that they will find time, because Rampage has been announcements after announcements after.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens on next Rampage, because
yeah, I mean, they've built up a little bit of a thing right now, haven't they, with these first 2 episodes of like something big's gonna happen every week.
Yeah, so Dan Lambert did his thing and it was meh. Then we got the AEW Tag Championship match.
Really liked this one personally.
Yeah, this was an awesome match. I was a little annoyed by the finish.
I get why it's there though,
but then they used that. They played it in and were like, "Ha, well, this is gonna happen." But yeah, the fantastic match between the Bucks and Jurassic Express. They did the thing that we both thought might happen, where they try and cheat and Omega brings down a chair and it doesn't work, it backfires, but it didn't backfire quite enough, so there's still a little bit of tease of something like that going on. To be honest, I enjoy the Young Bucks more in this role than I do Kenny Omega.
Interesting.
It just doesn't seem. I don't feel like it fits Kenny Omega very well.
It's weird because I feel like it fits Kenny when he's on his own.
Yeah,
if that makes any sort of sense.
Would you? When he was like the cleaner, like when he was doing the Bullet Club stuff, absolutely. But this one, I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't quite feel like it works for me.
It's almost like him and the Bucks have slightly different directions that they want to do it in, and it doesn't quite mesh at all times.
I don't know, because I feel like they're on the same page most of the time when they are both doing their things.
Yeah.
It is just, I think this suits the Bucks better than it does Kenny, because Kenny's coming off quite whiny and quite bitchy and quite...
Yeah. But then that might also be the point.
yeah, for sure. But it doesn't fit.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Kenny is literally the best wrestler in the world.
And that's kind of the problem, right? Is like
he should be like overly cocky, be like, yeah, you can't beat me.
This is where I was just gonna go. That's kind of the problem that wrestling has these days, where because the majority of fans, I would say, at least in our circles, are more knowledgeable now. People know that Kenny's one of the best wrestlers in the world, so the character that he is doesn't fit him. Right?
No, and it's not. It would fit an MJF. It would fit like a Miz. It would even fit like a heel Christian or something like that.
Yeah.
But this doesn't quite fit with a Kenny Omega. I don't think.
No, until you have him maybe lose a lot, and then it kind of that might work. But at the moment, it doesn't.
Well, I mean,
I'm with you.
He was meant to drop the.
They changed it, right? They changed it.
Yeah, because Hangman's.
I did hear another report that, because the initial report about the AAA thing was that he was meant to drop it, but he was actually meant to drop it first, and Tony Khan kind of requested that, and then AAA apparently said no, they were going to have him drop it on that show, and then they changed the finish themselves. So I don't actually.
I didn't hear that. I just heard that AEW changed it because they didn't want him dropping all of his titles at once, sort of thing.
Interesting.
Because the whole situation was meant to be Hangman. Christian wasn't meant to be in this. It was meant to be Hangman, but obviously his missus is pregnant and due to give birth anytime now.
I feel like Christian is the second best option right now, and he's doing a good job of what he needs to do.
Second best option in terms of a face, for sure.
Yeah.
Because, heel versus heel doesn't necessarily make sense.
Heel versus heel can work, but not the heel that Kenny is.
Versus the heel that MJF is.
Yeah.
because it'd be a weird one. Because I honestly MJF I think is the logical option.
Interesting.
I honestly like the idea more of MJF winning it than Hangman. I want Hangman to win it, of course, but I want MJF to just be that proper asshole champion.
For sure. No, I get that, and I think that time will come.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I have an idea about how I think the time will come, but I don't know when. But we'll get to that idea later because it plays heavily into somebody else.
So yeah, the Bucks ended up winning after a bunch of distractions, a bunch of nonsense, of course. But it was later announced that there'd be a 4-team tag team turmoil, so 2 tag team matches, and the winner of that series will go on to face the Bucks in a steel cage. Have we had a steel cage on AEW?
I don't think we have. We had the War Games style match, right?
Yeah, blood and guts. We haven't had a straight up steel cage.
No. I don't think so. I could be wrong.
I can't recall one. I'll go look it up real quick.
There might be one actually on a pay-per-view. I think there might have been one. I could be wrong, but I just vaguely remember for some reason. Because I think it was a different style of cage than we're used to seeing.
I don't remember an AEW cage. Oh, yeah. The first one was Cody.
Yeah.
Versus Wardlow. That's it. That was just on a Dynamite. Okay, so never mind. Second. Or third if you count Blood and Guts. I hate that name.
True.
Rubbish name.
I mean, they tried to get the War Games name, to be fair, and they couldn't, so...
Why would they? I wouldn't let them have it. I wouldn't have let them have it. Who would the other? It's kind of, unless there's a swerve coming, it's kind of obvious who the final 2 tags are going to be.
Of course, but it also makes sense, right?
Like, well, maybe because the Varsity Blondes are getting a bit of a push. They're getting quite a lot of screen time and a lot of tension. So maybe. Or maybe so the 4 teams are Jungle Boy, Jurassic Express, Lucha Bros, not Death Jungle, Varsity Blondes, and
Private Party.
Private Party, thank you. We
know Private Party.
Anyway.
Private Party faced Jurassic Express in the first match, but that was on Rampage, so we'll get to that later.
I wonder if Andrade or Chavo is going to cost the Lucha Bros their match.
No, I feel like that. I feel like it might go the other way. I feel like they might help them.
I don't know.
They might help them to win, and then that's what will kind of plant the seed of, okay, maybe we can be better over here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. To be honest, I think I would probably prefer if he left those 2 alone and went and started fucking with the Inner Circle.
Really?
And pulling Proud and Powerful. Because I think they should.
I mean, they kind of fit better, right?
I don't know if they fit better. I just think they should be doing more.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they should just be doing more.
But then they,
because I mean, Andrade used to be a luchador, so it's not necessarily that they don't fit better.
No, but what I mean is they fit with. I feel like Proud and Powerful potentially fit with Andrade's character in AEW better.
But then, if you take the Lucha Bros individually, as well as the team, they are better.
That's true.
They are champions in their own right, and should be champions as a tag team as well. Yeah. So it's a tricky one because they both should be used more. But
for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this comes. I don't know. I feel like there'll be some sort of interference one way or another. But that we don't have to wait. Long to wait. We've only got to wait till next time. I might find that one out. Next we got Paul White's big announcement, and
we all saw this coming.
I don't.
Do you know what? It's weird because I'm a little bit more intrigued than you, just because I want to see what he can do Like, is it a thing of, is he now in better condition? Can he do better than we've seen in his last run in WWE? I'm going to kind of place a bet and say that he can, because he has had these operations. He does look fitter than he has in quite some time.
Yeah, I just don't feel like we need another old dude or an old wrestler.
But they don't have that many, right? So
I mean, there's the ones they have are fairly prominent, and we're seeing them quite often.
Yeah, true.
I don't think we need another one. If this is one and done, fantastic. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Is at the moment, I'm not gonna begrudge him one match. I want to see where it goes. I want to see what happens, because he could do that one match, and we could say, "Oh shit, actually, maybe he does have something still to offer." Do you know what I mean?
Outside of the ring, I honestly, I really like him on commentary.
Really? Okay.
I think he's really good on commentary. He's got good energy. I prefer him over Mark Henry. Mark Henry was a lot better this week. But
for sure, he felt a little bit more comfortable, right?
Yeah. But Paul White he fits it like a glove.
I'll tell you what, weirdly, little bit of a spoiler. JR was on commentary instead of Chris Jericho this week, for Rampage, which makes sense, because of what happened in Jericho's match on Dynamite,
which we'll get to.
But JR did a pretty good job as well.
Yeah, that's just because he cared about.
True.
John Moxley versus whoever later on. How long are we going to be around that bush? I think we'll just get there.
No. Let's finish the Dynamite thing first, and then we'll get there. It's not time yet.
I don't care about QT Marshall or Marshall. I don't know why they call him Marshall. Is this
just Marshall, right?
Yeah, it's Marshall. It's spelled Marshall. It's. I don't get what I don't know if they're taking the piss out of him or what. But yeah, I couldn't care less.
I mean, I kind of want to happen in this Big Show match.
I just want him to knock him out.
That's what I was gonna say.
I just want a straight knockout and done. I do not need to see Paul White lumbering around doing his thing. I think there are other people that could be getting that spotlight. There are younger, more dominating looking big men.
For sure.
That would be cooler.
But we did say, to be fair, we did say that right now they don't have that big man attraction on their roster, because we were talking about Strowman previously.
I mean, Archer was it?
Yeah.
A year ago?
Yeah.
So, but I don't. I'm sure they will.
They will. Yeah.
I don't imagine it. I'd imagine one's pop up, but
for sure.
Not
I'm never going to begrudge a legend a one-off match here and there, as long as they can still do it to a certain level.
That's fine. I will.
That's my thing.
Well, that is my thing. From what I saw last of him, he couldn't do it at any certain level. So
no, precisely, and I get that. No, I get that. I just think he looks like he's in different shape now, and
cool.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I know that you are an evidence-based person.
I just don't care. I've seen Big Show for 20 odd years. I think he offers more backstage and more on commentary than he needs to in the ring these days.
True.
I think right.
Let's move on. What do we have next?
We got to see Thunder Rosa do her thing, and I love Thunder Rosa, so I'm all about this. She went up against Penelope Ford, who I'm not all that convinced by. I think she's not very good. But Thunder Rosa is fantastic. So she kind of carried this match. It was a bit. There were a couple of drops and there were a couple of botches and stuff like that, and Thunder Rosa obviously won.
A couple of botches and stuff can be forgiven, though.
Yeah, but when it's every match she's in.
True.
I don't think Penelope Ford is more than
no
enhancement talent.
No, of course. But hopefully she will improve over time, and that does happen sometimes. So
yeah, I mean, she's really missing not having Kip around.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Sure.
yeah, that was a match. Thunder Rosa obviously won because Thunder Rosa is fantastic. We had Pac being all Geordie, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Because Pac is.
For some reason, I just want him to start kicking people's heads off. Like, I don't know why.
I feel like he's gonna try to, but he's gonna lose to Andrade.
You think he's gonna lose?
He's gonna lose to Andrade.
See,
you do not bring Andrade in and immediately lose his first feud.
No, I get that, but not everybody who debuts wins their first feud, right?
Andrade.
I know, but then they had Malachi Black win his first feud.
Yeah, because he's a big name. Andrade is a big name. I don't think someone in his position you want to.
Does every big name need to win their first feud then? Do you think? If they come into a company?
It depends on their position.
Okay. We'll get back to that question later on.
So yeah, because that one is a tricky one. Because I'm not sure about that one. But
we'll get back to that.
I can't see Pac winning. I would love for Pac to win.
For me, it was just the thing of when I think about this match in the context of the entire show, it feels like the one where there could be a swerve result. It feels like the one where maybe Pac could do some devilish kind of tactics to win.
Or just be Pac.
Or just, yeah.
Do you not think this is where the Lucha Bros could turn, though?
Maybe, but I think they need, if that's going to happen, I don't want it to be random. I want a seed. Of them potentially turning to be planted. Does that make sense?
I mean, we've still got a week and 2 shows to go, so
yeah,
there is time for that.
For sure.
I don't know. I would love Pac to win because I don't think
I can't wait for this match either way.
Yeah,
I don't really care who wins.
I'm happy either way, but I just think Andrade is going to win.
Don't get me wrong. My head says that you are right. Andrade wins, but there is a part of me that goes, could they swerve us with this one?
I mean, because that is the thing when you've got 2 people like this.
Yeah,
it's like either one can reasonably win. It's not
because also, but the thing is as well is, sometimes a loss doesn't hurt somebody, it helps them.
Mm-hmm.
And character-wise, a loss for Andrade would be quite interesting, whereas a loss for Pac, I think, hurts him a bit. Because of the position he's already in, where he hasn't really, done much.
He beat Kenny Omega. That's
but what I mean is
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's it. That's all Pac's done is beat Kenny Omega once.
Yeah, and that's kind of my thing. Is like, I feel like a loss is potentially more hurtful to Pac, especially if you have the Lucha Bros turn as well, because then it would be like, okay, what do you do with Pac now?
I don't think so, because I would honestly much rather see loner Pac.
Oh, okay.
I think Pac on his own works better.
Interesting.
Just because he's a bastard, so he's a bastard to everybody.
Yeah. For sure.
So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Andrade wins and it's because of Lucha Bros. But
no, don't get me wrong. That would not surprise me, and I am very much looking forward to the match. But as you said before that, we still have some more shows to go.
Still got 2 shows to go,
and we still have some more matches to deal with on this episode.
We do, but first we have what I thought was the most pointless segment of the show. Taz Hook, Ricky Starks.
Yeah, what was the point of this?
And then Brian Cage has the scrap with Will Hobbs backstage, and then they all run.
Yeah, that
was it. It was literally over in 2 minutes. It was
This almost felt like, oh, we need to waste a little bit of time to set something else up.
I think it was the other way around. I feel like something, probably the Bucks match, probably went a bit too long, and then they had to cut stuff.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
So I think maybe there was something else here, but they had to cut it because it felt like there was something missing.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Hey ho. Did we have anything? We got another wonderful John Moxley promo. Calling out he went to town on everybody. It was great. From
people coming into the company.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Man, Moxley is so good. I love Moxley to bits. And then he challenged Danny Garcia to
the main event on Rampage.
Exactly. Which we'll get to. And then we had the fifth labor of Jericho. So Chris Jericho versus MJF.
I hated this.
Did you?
Mm.
Oh, I really liked it.
I'll explain why I hated it. The reason I hated it is purely because of the finish. Because it was so predictable. It was so predictable. And that, like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind predictable in wrestling. But when you do something that is so predictable, where you take the move away from one of the wrestlers, and then they go to hit it, but they hesitate, but then they get hit with that move themselves, that is so predictable. And to me, I would have just liked to have seen something else. Personally.
So can I take you back to last week when I said Jericho should have lost to Wardlow? That would have been better.
Yeah.
It would have been far more interesting. I thought the match was great because I just like MJF being MJF.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's not the match in its entirety that I hate, but the way that it finished made me hate the match, if that makes sense. It's not a match that I'd want to go back and watch, and it's not. Often...
I have very few that I'd go back and watch, to be honest.
Yeah,
I am just happy. Hopefully that it's over.
I also think it's good for Jericho, right? Because it's now quite interesting.
I can actually
what does Jericho do? Does he now transition out? What does he do?
I don't think there's any way that they let him transition out. I think if they're going to go out, everyone is going to insist that he has a moment because he deserves a moment.
Yeah. Maybe the moment comes at the pay-per-view, right?
No. I unless something gets set up this week. Maybe, but no. I can honestly see Jericho getting desperate and putting his career on the line.
Okay.
Against MJF. Doing a career versus or like Jericho wanting a rematch. Like a straight up rematch, and MJF
says, if you put your career on the line.
No. I can see MJF just being like, no, I beat you, go away. This is done. And then Jericho puts the chips on the table and he's like, oh, if you win, this is it, I'm retired then.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
But
Jericho's an odd one because week to week I feel differently about him. One week I feel like he can still go and he still has quite a bit to offer in terms of in-ring and in terms of character-based work. And then another week, I feel a bit like, okay, you are starting to lose a step now, and it's starting to show. I think is the place I feel like I'm at with Jericho, where I still enjoy his stuff, but he is. You're starting to see little missteps where maybe he doesn't have the quickness or agility that he used to have. But what I mean is to be able to do certain things, even just in moving around the ring and
of course he doesn't. That time is going to come. Like time catches up with everybody.
For sure.
And that's probably what the Rampage thing is. It is probably his backseat that he's eventually going to start taking.
Yeah. He's great at that though. So I've got no bones about that.
On the thing here that I've got Bleacher Report up. And they put, after enduring all of, I guess, the punishment that he took from MJF, Jericho just taps. Is like, well, he does have an injured arm. That was the point. They built the match around the injured arm.
Yeah,
It's That's why he's wearing the thing. The whole
but
match.
It is funny how people sometimes miss things like that in storytelling in wrestling now, and I think it's because WWE has conditioned us that they don't really do that. They don't really do this kind of. It's very rare that they tell a story based around an injury, but they do it over a period of time, right?
Here they've this on Bleacher Report, and they've said it would make more sense if those opponents had specifically attacked the injured arm, but they didn't.
Why?
At least not
the arms.
Like, the arm's been fucked for months.
Yeah, the arm's already injured.
They keep going back to it. They put it in a chair and stomped on it, like they've done a bunch. And MJF just kept going to it. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
I don't get that at all.
Else?
I don't get that.
I thought the match was fine. I don't think it was anything special.
But let's round up Dynamite because there's some. It's almost time. It's almost time. I feel pretty good about Dynamite. You know, it's still consistently delivering a good product and good wrestling. Yeah. There's a couple of missteps here and there, but that's fine. Those things are okay. You know, it's not everything has to be perfect all the time.
I mean, we saw like no women again.
Yeah,
which is we had one women's match. That was it.
However, Tony Khan, sir, I forgive you for everything. Every misstep you've ever made, I forgive you.
Well, I mean, in fairness, they're missteps. They're not. No, people don't like this.
Yeah, for sure.
They're missteps.
For sure. But Tony Khan, thank you.
I mean, in fairness, sir. It's in the thumbnail.
Yeah. So you have seen already.
Well, I mean, if you're here, you should have seen it already anyway, unless you're living under a rock.
But of course, on AEW Rampage, the very first thing they do after 7 years away is CM Punk comes out and makes his return to wrestling.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Christian again.
Luke, man.
Genuinely, right? So I kept saying, I feel like there was something else coming. And there was kind of. And I was right. In that he's straight away getting back in the ring. He's going up.
And we didn't know necessarily that was going to be the case, right?
We didn't, but I said it was. And I'm like, oh, I've got that right. Because otherwise, you'd bring him in on the pay-per-view. And
we will. And actually, I want to spend quite a bit of time talking about Punk because other than Punk, not that much happened on Rampage.
No. But I had a weird feeling that something might have, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So what we'll probably do is talk about what Punk said. Then we'll run down the results for Rampage, and then we'll probably come back to Punk after.
Sure, yeah.
Just because there's a lot to say. So first of all, what I want to say is this actually brought a tear to my eye. Like I don't know how, but somehow they did this thing where it still surprised me, even though I knew. Do you know what I mean? And I think they almost did it expertly, where they built it up so much that they actually built it up to the point where people were sort of like, is it really going to be true? Do you know what I mean? And people did start to doubt them again, which was clever.
I mean, my brother did it like ages ago when like this properly started ramping up. I'm like, nah, he's coming. And my brother was like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see him. And then like I texted him when I watched it like this morning. And I was like, fucking told you.
Yeah.
And he said he's watched it. He's like continuously watching it because he's watching it. He's like, I still can't believe it. I'm watching it, but I can't believe it. It's like when Moxie showed up.
I watched it like 7 times in a row. I did. I watched it like 7 times in a row. And I actually text my partner in the middle of the night and I was like, the wrestling just made me cry. And I showed her a screen grab of it, and even she was like, he's back. And she was so shocked because it's just like, man, it's just one of those things where I think deep down we all got to the point where we just didn't believe it would ever happen with Punk, right?
It really felt like the Stone Cold thing. It really felt it's like, nah, I am actually done. because it was so long. For so long there was and then like AEW popped up, and he's friends with the Bucks. He's friends with other people there, and it was still a no.
And we'll get into it later because they actually had a media scrum after, and there's
I haven't actually watched that. I'm gonna go watch.
There is some interesting information which we can get from Sean Ross Sapp. If you go on Twitter, we can kind of read the info later. But one of the things that Punk said is him and Tony Khan were actually in talks for a year and a half.
Yeah.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
So Punk might have been back before, but they didn't want to bring him back without a crowd.
Was it what's it called?
Starrcade was the event they did where he did the interviews and stuff.
It is Starrcade.
Yeah.
In that Starrcade, I think they talked about him signing for AEW, and he was like, well, maybe if they gave me more than a text message.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I think he was
that the start?
I think
was that the beginning of playing with us?
Well, because the other thing is he did, so I can't remember where he did this interview, but he did an interview a little while ago where he said he did actually have a conversation with Tony Khan before AEW started on TV. But he said something along the lines of, but I've heard about all these people before of we're going to start this company and we're going to do this and we're going to take on WWE.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they never do. And he said, so I needed to wait and see. That was kind of his thing was, I'm always a person, I wait and see. But then he also had an interview from about a year ago that Renee Paquette just released last night. And on that, he says, one quote was, if there's an opportunity for him, it's always something he'll consider. He wasn't talking about AEW specifically, but he was saying in life, if there's an opportunity that's interesting, you sort of owe it to yourself to always at least consider it. But yeah, so we need to deal with this a second because I'm getting emotional just talking about it, Luke. Because I'll tell you one thing. First of all, I didn't think they were going to open the show with it.
I thought they might, and I think it was very clever too. Otherwise, it would have just ruined the rest of the show.
For sure. But one thing I'll say is that crowd, man, even before that music came on.
Genuinely, I think that was the loudest pop since Steve Austin returned to fight off the Alliance.
I agree. Some
you could genuinely you could not hear his theme music at times.
Some people within the industry have actually said that they think it's the loudest pop ever, which is
honestly I think it might be because the audio quality is different.
Yeah,
and like you go back and watch the Steve Austin one, and the audio quality is shit, but you at points you cannot hear his theme music.
Yeah. But it's I don't. So obviously they all started chanting CM Punk, and the music comes on. Of course it does. We all lose our fucking shit. CM Punk is basically crying.
He
jumps into the crowd.
I love that. That was great. The security guard was trying to catch him on the way. It was like, bro, just get out of the way.
Yeah,
like Chicago. What the fuck are they gonna do to him?
Let him have his moment, right?
If someone tried to hurt him in Chicago, that person dies right there. Like nothing's happening to
him. And he actually took a minute to, get in the ring. He kind of took his time.
Yeah, he went around fucking hugging people.
Hugging people.
I wanted to see him hug.
Do you know what the thing is? If I could ever be at one wrestling event, I wish I was here.
I would have taken that over Edge, over everything. That is
honestly, this might be, and we'll have to have this discussion one day, but this might be the biggest return ever in wrestling. It might be.
Yeah. I honestly think it is, because I think there's a lot of as I said, there's probably a vocal minority, but they're very loud about how much CM Punk took his ball, went home, blah 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 blah.
And now they can't say that, right?
Genuinely, well, no, they can because he did, but regardless, Steve Austin did as well, but he doesn't get the same shit.
Yeah,
genuinely, CM Punk is the biggest thing since Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, well,
Daniel Bryan is like up
I
there,
was actually saying to somebody the other day that I think Steve Austin's a really good comparison because I think CM Punk is this generation's Steve Austin, right? Like if you grew up with Punk instead of Austin, Punk is your Austin.
I mean, CM Punk's the reason I got back into wrestling.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly when it was because I remember watching.
I assume that it would have been sometime around the summer of Punk in 2011. Oh, okay.
No. It was around the stuff with Jeff Hardy.
Oh, okay. So it was a bit before. Wow. Okay.
Fucking way before. I love fucking hell. Straight Edge Society could have been incredible when they fucked it.
But let's get back to AEW because man, I still need to I'm processing this.
I still am. I still am. Like the entire morning in work, I'm like, did I just? It's weird. It feels like I dreamt it. It doesn't feel like it actually happened. It's one of those where it's like, it is one of those things. It's like your favorite team winning the biggest fucking.
Do you know what? It's even when he gets in the ring eventually, right? And you see you actually see the tears in his eyes, but you also see. I think it's incredibly cathartic for him, right? Because you see that he's happy again to be in a wrestling ring and to be around wrestling. Great. Yeah,
he looks fantastic. He looks he somehow looks younger than he did.
Yeah.
Than when he was in his peak WWE.
And we'll get into his promo in a minute because I actually think he said a couple of interesting things.
I actually think we should do that at the end.
Okay. We'll get into the promo at the end.
Yeah, I think we should just get through Dynamite and then come back to the CM Punk stuff.
Okay. But what I want to say is this moment made me feel like
I haven't been so excited for wrestling in a very long time.
Well, we were texting hours before and we both said we are genuinely hyped.
I was going to stay up, but in the UK it was at 3 a.m, so I was like,
that's a bit much, right? Yeah.
Well, it's not that it's a bit much. If I didn't have to work the next day, it would be fine.
Yeah.
But I get up at 4 a.m. to work, so I'm like, well, I'll just get up at 3. It's just one of those weird ones.
If it wasn't in the middle of the night, I think I would have lost my shit screaming. It's one of those things.
See, I would have if I was with other people.
Yeah.
If I was with other people.
Can you imagine if we had watched this moment together? If we had been in person.
That would have been cool, but I would have killed to have my brother over.
Yeah.
Because my brother was very much no, I need to see it to believe it. But even he started getting he texted me, I think it was the day before, and he was like, this feels different. And I'm like, yeah, it fucking does.
Just from you saying that, I would have loved to have seen your brother's reaction, man.
Well, I mean, he's so we're watching SummerSlam together tomorrow.
Yes.
And then next week he's coming over. He's like, I've got to watch All Out.
Okay.
And he was talking about doing it live. I'm like, just come over.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, we'll get pizza. I'm like, hell yeah, we will. Because he's gonna get to see CM Punk wrestle for the first time in 7 years. Ironically,
yeah.
Do you know what his last match was in WWE?
No.
Oh shit, what was it? Oh, Billy Gunn.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Apparently his last match in WWE was Billy Gunn. I haven't checked it.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I might have to bust my way over to your house for All Out as well.
Maybe.
I feel like it's a thing, right? I feel like it's a thing. Man.
If you can wait that long.
It's a moment that we're never gonna get again, right?
Yeah.
When are you guys gonna be watching it?
I haven't. Probably Monday. Well, it will be Monday, but I don't know when yet.
Cool. Yeah. No, I can
that bit out yet.
I can probably do the Monday. We'll figure that out, and people, we will be covering it. Don't you worry. Maybe Luke's brother might have some opinions and join us with some opinions.
I don't really have the room for another person to be here. But
we'll just sit him in the back, Luke. We'll sit him in the back.
Yeah, you can be like my dog in the last episode. My dog's not here this time. He's with my missus.
But right, yes, so we'll get back to CM Punk in a bit. But I do want to say before we move on, once again, thank you to Tony Khan for not letting us down and not overhyping shit that he then can't deliver.
What in reality should just be thanking Punk.
Oh no, of course. But let's be real. Tony Khan had a massive part to play in this.
Oh, sure. But if it wasn't Tony Khan, I'm sure it would have been someone else.
Okay.
I'm sure it would have been someone. If he had that much of an itch.
Yeah, that's true, because it does sound like he actually had an itch, right?
Yeah, because I was watching some stuff before, and like they were like, I don't know if he I don't know how much he actually wants to do this.
It's funny because I watched one video. It was actually Adam Blampier was booking his AEW debut, and Blampier seemed to feel like maybe Punk didn't actually want to do it and was doing it for the money. And we'll get to why later, but it definitely does not come across that way.
No, definitely not. I mean, he jumped into the crowd.
So let's
yeah.
go through these matches and then we'll come back.
So we had Jade Cargill, and I actually missed this match. Yeah, I completely missed it because it was over in like seconds,
right? Yeah.
Like Jade Cargill is just doing what she does. She's great. She's cool. I missed it because it was a squash fundamentally. But Jade Cargill is awesome. I'm glad that she's getting screen time. But yeah, I completely missed this one, so I couldn't tell you how good it was, but I know how good Jade Cargill is. And Kira Hogan is pretty good.
I mean, I'll be fully honest. I was watching this show, but I wasn't processing any match that I saw.
Sure.
I'll be fully honest.
Oh, Matt. But Private Party versus Jurassic Express was very good.
I liked that. But I
good.
need to go back and watch it to appreciate it properly, sure. I think.
Fair. Yeah, no, but Private Party Jurassic Express was fantastic. I wasn't as keen on Moxley versus Daniel Garcia, so Jade Cargill obviously won.
No, but I think Moxley versus Garcia played a part, right? It played.
Sure.
Because I almost feel like it was more to get Darby Allin in the ring, which we'll come back to why that was.
Well, I mean, we've already said it, but I don't think we needed to be honest. I don't think we needed to. But yeah, Private Party versus Jurassic Express was awesome. Because of course it is. Matt Hardy being the manager role, he's great at it. Let's keep him there, please. He's fantastic at that.
Luke just hates all these old people.
That can't go. I don't mind Edge coming back because Edge has proved
you were skeptical on Edge though. Let's be real. You were skeptical on Edge.
I didn't know if he could do it. If he could still go. And his match with Randy Orton was not good. But then subsequent matches have been good. So I'm cool with Edge. I don't want him to win a world title.
Also, just a quick aside as we're on Edge, this is our AEW recap. But on SmackDown, the Brood music played for Edge. So
what? Did it?
They played the Brood music for Edge and he dropped like blood or something on Seth Rollins.
Holy shit. I forgot SmackDown was even a thing. Legit, normally
That's how hyped you were.
Normally, I'd watch like a recap of SmackDown by now. I completely forgot about SmackDown. Why the Brood? Who cares?
I don't know, but it worked.
Unless they brought Gangrel out, that would have been sick.
They did not bring Gangrel.
Missed opportunity. You just brought Gangrel out. Some of them I don't mind. It just there are too many about it.
It was like I said earlier, and like you've said yourself, Luke, you are an evidence-based guy. If these people come back and they prove they can do it, then
I don't want. I think
even Christian, right? People were probably skeptical on Christian initially.
I've got a real soft spot for Christian, so I can't say anything about him.
Yeah, and I also think Christian and CM Punk, I actually think, are a little bit similar in the sense that for both of those wrestlers, it felt like they had unfinished business. Like Christian,
I mean, they do, yeah, sure. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Christian got the concussion, and that's why he wasn't allowed to wrestle anymore for a very long time.
Well, and Vince doesn't like him.
Yeah,
and Vince doesn't like CM Punk, so
yeah,
Vince doesn't like anybody.
Yeah, so
like anybody.
So yeah, there is that. But let's
Yeah, and then the John Moxley Daniel Garcia match was it was fine. It was a good high. I love John Moxley coming out and just beating the shit out of him. But Daniel Garcia showed.
Do you know what I think about this Rampage episode? That's very clever. Is they knew it wasn't about the matches.
Mm-hmm.
They knew it wasn't about the matches, but they had the matches there.
Well, so it was also very clever.
Just
the other clever thing is get Moxley out there, get Jungle Boy out there, get really, really popular acts, so people have to still pay attention.
Yeah.
Because when Moxley came out,
and also that tag match was actually important, right? Like it was an important match.
Very good. So they balanced it really well. They were very.
I still don't know how they're managing to do matches of this quality in that time frame, though. Especially when.
How do you mean that time frame? As in,
like,
the time they have to work with, or
like what I mean is the literal time these people get in the ring. Like, for example, they had Punk go with his promo and everything for about 15 minutes to 18 minutes of the 1 hour episode. He took a third of the episode, which is fine, deserved it, needed it.
John Moxley's match it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. But it was still a good match, even in 5 minutes.
I mean, yeah, because he just beat the shit out of, and then Garcia got some in. I think Private Party and Jurassic Express had, they just did them. This is what happens when you let wrestlers be fucking wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like it turns out most of these wrestlers are actually good at what they do.
Yeah. And one thing we've actually heard recently is that this is kind of Tony Khan's tactic, where he lets the wrestlers decide what they want to do, and he just helps them piece together.
Yeah, he's got the final say and stuff like that. Yeah. So, he's the Vince McMahon, but without as much of a bloody finger.
It's all good. It's all good. It's
Yeah, they've had another killer week even without the CM Punk return.
Even without the Punk thing, it's cool. With the Punk thing, they've had an industry-changing week.
Yeah, it's monumental. We still got Daniel Bryan to come.
My God, I'm sorry, people, but all that needs to be spoken about today is CM Punk. Let's be real.
Absolutely.
This promo he did was amazing, because it was just him being him, right? And I think this is the thing that makes Punk relatable for so many people, is he is just being himself. He's not even really being a turned up version of himself. I feel like that is literally who he is. And it just makes him so relatable. But he got in the ring, and I can't remember exactly what he said, so I'm paraphrasing. But he talked about he put
over Britt Baker immediately.
Yeah, he did. He said, "You sure know how to make a guy feel like Britt Baker
in Pittsburgh."
Yeah, liked that. But also, what I liked is, I actually liked his acknowledgement, even though I understand why he said it. I liked his acknowledgement that he understood that he maybe made some fans feel let down. Because he did just walk away, and because there was no closure. And I think that was the biggest thing for people, right? Is there was no closure with Punk. But he acknowledged that. And I actually think he did it perfectly, because he acknowledged the fans, but he also made them acknowledge him on a personal level because of what he said. He said something along the lines of, if I've made any personal decisions in my life that have made you feel let down or anything like that, I can understand that, as long as you can understand that I had to leave somewhere that was making me bad, essentially.
Yeah, he couldn't he couldn't heal from his sickness while at the place that was making him sick.
Yes,
essentially. Which, pretty on the nose and true.
Yeah. Although he didn't actually ever, because they wouldn't have stopped him mentioning WWE, because other wrestlers have done it, but he didn't. And I kind of, is like when he.
It's just because he's so over them. Like he
Yeah,
just doesn't.
yeah.
Like,
But no, but that's what I love about it. I love about the whole promo is he got his message across without needing to address that, right?
yeah, because that's so far in the past for him now. Like he's not even angry with them anymore. He doesn't care about them.
Yeah.
Like
So this is the thing. So he addressed the personal thing. I think he did that to make he almost did that, it felt like, to make amends with the crowd of like,
yeah,
I let you down and I recognize that I let you down, but I did it for a reason that was good for me.
mm-hmm.
And now I'm back to make it up to you. That's kind of how it felt to a certain degree. And he does actually say later, I'm back for you, but I'm also back for me. And he admits that he is also back for him. But the best part of this whole promo was when he said, can I tell you a story? And he takes his jacket off to reveal the new CM Punk t-shirt, which is like his original WWE t-shirt in 2011, I believe, in the Summer of Punk.
Yeah, similar to basically, yeah.
Which makes sense. It broke their shop website, so everybody wants it.
Yeah. I certainly do.
Yeah, so do I. There are t-shirts on eBay from the actual arena, because they're exclusive ones, selling for like $1,000, which is crazy.
I hate just why? Just keep the fucking shirt.
Yeah, I know.
It's a cool moment. Stop trying to fucking monetize everything.
Yeah, I know. And he goes, can I tell you a story? He takes the jacket off, reveals the shirt, and he sits on the floor with his legs crossed. And everybody loses their shit, because if you know anything about CM Punk, one of the most famous promos in wrestling was him sat on the floor with his legs crossed, basically telling the truth about WWE on WWE TV.
Anytime he sat like that, you know you're getting some good shit.
Yeah, and I actually kind of blank out a little bit because I can't really remember what he said here, but he said something along the lines of, he was talking about when he left wrestling, but he actually says in 2005 on August the 13th.
Yeah, he swerved
when he left Ring of Honor.
Everyone was like, oh my God, he's actually going to talk about Ring of Honor.
But the fact that he emphasized the professional wrestling part,
well, that was the point. When he left Ring of Honor, he left wrestling.
Yeah. And that's when he does actually address, he does say, I left with tears in my eyes because I'd built somewhere for people to work, etc., etc. And I was going somewhere that I knew it would be hard for me. Obviously, we all know that place was WWE, and WWE is more entertainment than wrestling these days. And I think that was a cool way to address it without addressing it, because he then turns around and says, but August 20th, 2021, I'm back. And I can't remember whether it's before or after this, but he did talk about how he's got time. And it's a Wednesday, a Friday, and 4 Saturdays or Sundays a year. And he's here. And it does sound like, it sounds like he's actually going to be around for quite a while.
I mean, he was never going to be, like the Rock or Cena or something like that.
No,
going to be a pop-in sort of thing. I don't think he.
But I think people did assume. I think people did assume that maybe he would only be there for a year or 6 months or something. Yeah. But that's definitely not the case, right? Doesn't sound that way.
I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't sound that way because the way he was talking was, even the way he said it was like almost like it's multiple years, because he went 4 Saturdays or Sundays a year. He didn't go, do you know what I mean? He didn't say Monday, Friday, and 4 Saturdays or Sundays. If he would have said that, then it would have been like, okay, you're only here a year.
Yeah. Because he'll still be able to take time off to do like TV shows.
Well,
this is like
this is the thing, and this is
AEW are much more flexible.
This is kind of what I mentioned to you before about how I actually think that AEW opens the door for potential things that we've seen with wrestlers and potential wrestlers coming back or whatever that may not have before because of the schedule differences, and maybe wrestlers going longer than they have before because of the schedule differences. Because we think about Bryan Danielson, who will be coming in very soon, we assume. And I just think, the part of the reason they got him is the freedom for him to work where he wants and work in New Japan and stuff like that, it sounds like. But also part of it, I guarantee you, is the fact that they do 2 shows a week and that's it.
Yeah, he gets to spend more time with his kids.
Yeah. So I think, and I actually think in a weird way, them doing only TV and pay-per-view events kind of makes them, it makes it a special occasion, right? Because you're not, if they come to your town is a TV thing, you're not going to see them in your town otherwise.
Yeah. I don't honestly, they might eventually start doing like tours and stuff like that, but
yeah.
With I think it's Dark more Elevation. I don't think they need to, because
I think it's more likely
main guys on there occasionally. So
I think it's more likely that what they'd eventually do is, instead of doing weekly TV in, say, other countries and stuff, because they will go to other countries eventually to build up their profile.
Yeah, they've said they were meant to this year if it wasn't for the pandemic.
I assume that what will actually happen is, I think they'll do a pay-per-view style event. When they go to like they'll do like one massive show instead of like a week of shows, like when WWE come here, they do live shows for a week and they have a TV episode, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, I'd imagine if they were coming, like if they came to the UK, I would imagine they'd do a Dynamite Rampage and then the pay-per-view and then maybe a Dynamite after that and then bounce.
That's kind of what I expect to happen, because also I think that's doable for people, right? Like if you say to a wrestler, oh yeah, let's go over to the UK, but it's literally going to be like 1 week and then you're home, and if you're not on the pay-per-view, actually you could go earlier
or not go if you're not needed, like
because
Dark and Dark Elevation could still be filmed at
True.
Base or wherever the fuck they want to do it.
So that's all good stuff. But CM Punk in the latter part of his promo, of course, did call out Darby Allin. I thought it was interesting the way he did it, because he said, "I'm going to help you." He actually made a point of saying, "I'm going to help you," and I was like, "What does that even mean? What does that mean? Is it that Punk sees himself?"
I tell you what it means. Darby Allin is going to be so much more recognized.
Yeah, but imagine this is the way they play Punk's character, is that his thing is, I'm helping everybody because of who I am. Like that could be quite cool.
I mean, sure. I mean that was kind of his thing anyway. He was elevating everybody else because he was better than everybody else.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's still true.
I mean, imagine if it is, though. Imagine if by some miracle of God that he is still as good as he ever was. And I don't even believe in God, but if they're
I mean, like I said, he looks good.
Yeah.
He looks younger than he did.
Oh, and he also gave away ice cream bars. He actually gave away free ice cream bars.
That bit got that, like, I was like, cool. I was fine. I was like, cool. Let's hear him talk. And then he was like, oh yeah, everybody gets their ice cream bars. I'm like, motherfucker, yes, you get ice cream bars. I text my brother. He's like, yeah, I actually got his ice cream bars. It's like he literally got, other than they can't give him a main event in WrestleMania, he got everything.
Yeah,
in that one, like, it's great.
And we're gonna keep talking about this for a little while, but it just makes me happy. Like, it makes me happy to see him happy, to see him back, because I genuinely never thought I would bleed the day. It's like I even thought when he was in the ring that they might swerve us and say that he's on commentary.
Genuinely, I was waiting for him to get attacked by someone.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I was waiting. It's just that old wrestling thing.
Yeah, it's the
like
nature of wrestling,
coming.
right? Yeah.
But I forgot to mention it actually.
Go on.
After Punk did all this thing, and then Jade Cargill and Kira Hogan had that match, I was like, what if he brought AJ with it? It didn't happen, obviously, but I'm like, but that'd be sick. Because talk about unfinished business. Fuck me. She's still young.
Yeah, I know. He did
so
say we though, and he said we'll get to that later, which was interesting. There was a point where he made a point of saying we in the promo.
Yeah, but I think the we was him,
I thought
Tony Khan.
I thought that as well, but I do wonder if there might be a hint of something else.
That'd be cool. I would love for AJ.
So now let's get to some more details, I guess, around what Punk said and what Tony Khan had to say. Because if you go to Sean Ross Sapp on Twitter, you should be able to find a little thread of where he goes through what is said at the media scrum.
Let's have a gander.
Because there was some interesting info. And as I said earlier, one of the things is that Punk confirmed he was in talks with Tony Khan for about a year and a half about coming back to AEW. I also know that Tony Khan said that this is not part-time and it's also not short-term, which is positive, I think. And then what else got said? A few other things got said.
I'll try to find the beginning of it because here we go. So they didn't say how long his deal was. But yeah, like I said, not part-time, not short-time. Yeah, been talking over a year and a half, as you said.
I think it was Tony
without fans, obviously.
Yeah, and I think he also said it was Tony's idea to put him with Darby Allin, right? I think there's something in there.
I haven't got there, but the ice cream bars were Punk's idea.
Yeah.
Obviously, of course.
I wonder who actually paid for those ice cream bars.
Tony Khan. CM Punk hasn't seen Dark or Elevation. You're not alone. Don't worry. He put over Britt Baker again. Says Tony Khan had the idea to program with Darby Allin, and if he was a teenager, Darby would be his favorite wrestler, which I can see.
Yeah,
and he doesn't want to take Darby's suicide dive, which
don't blame him.
He is a fucking missile when he does that, so don't blame him. CM Punk says a lot of time in talks with AEW, they said the same things at the same time. Said wrestling doesn't need to be as hard as people pretend it needs to be. Man, Paul Heyman should just go over to AEW. They get it. Or, Paul Heyman should just run WWE. AEW lets people learn from their mistakes.
Rather than firing them, which I appreciated that comment.
He blames Renee for him getting back into wrestling. See, that is when I started being like, oh, he's coming back.
Yeah, because
when he came back to backstage, I was like,
yeah, because if you're willing to do that, right, something's gonna.
When he popped back up on backstage, I was like, oh, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time he's coming.
That's definitely obviously what gave him the itch, it sounds like, because he got back into the ecosystem, if you like, of wrestling. And yeah.
He said that the roster and the people around AEW not saying anything about Brody Lee's illness before his passing made a big impression of him.
Yes.
Which it did on everybody. They handled that so incredibly well.
Yeah. 100%.
He wasn't backstage hiding, which we saw because he's got pictures with absolutely.
He was actually hanging
everybody.
out with people, right? Yeah,
it looked like everybody. I want to see the. Oh my God.
I would have loved to have known, because I assume that they didn't all know in advance. So
I would imagine they did.
You think they did?
I would imagine so.
Because I feel like, would they have trusted every single wrestler in that company to keep it at least somewhat quiet? Because they didn't want it outright confirmed, right?
I mean, we knew.
Yeah.
Everybody knew this was happening.
But they do mention that they wanted people to know, but they also wanted it not to be...
Yeah, for sure.
Like a guarantee.
The only picture I want, and it won't happen because he doesn't break character, is MJF and CM Punk.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of that other picture where MJF is a wee tiny boy.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy, isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I'd love for them to do like a modern version of that. One of those things.
For sure.
Fun.
For sure.
CM Punk says he's sure he'll do a bit of everything. He's going to be back on commentary. I love him on commentary. He's fantastic. Doesn't have any issues with anything.
No, he said he didn't have any issues with anyone. And he also does briefly mention the G1, because I think he says he's in AEW, but if Tony Khan asked him to do the G1, they would talk about it. So basically, if Tony Khan wants him to go elsewhere, it sounds like he'd be open to it for the good of the company. But he's focused on AEW right now, which is cool.
Yeah, he said he wants to work with the Bucks, obviously Omega, Jungle Boy, and some other people.
Nice call out for Jungle Boy there.
Well, he also says who else? Who knows who else has come in? Well, Tony probably knows. Which,
I mean, I feel like maybe we know as well.
Buddy Murphy, that'd be fantastic. Did you ask about appearing in other promotions? He just says he's an AEW guy. There's the G1 thing, and that's it.
Yeah. So there is a little bit of information there, I think.
Basically, he's AEW. Much as he's a Paul Heyman guy, he's an AEW guy.
I think it can settle. I think it can also settle our nerves that he's not going to disappear in 6 months, and he probably is going to be on the show in some way.
Yes,
very regularly, if not every week. Yeah,
I mean, he's confirmed for
this Dynamite. Wednesday, right? Yeah.
Which I can't wait. I haven't been this excited for wrestling in a very long time, and it's weird. It's so weird to feel like this because it
shouldn't happen, right?
It's not. It's not that. It's I've still enjoyed wrestling for a very long time, but I've never, or I not in the longest time have I been this excited about it.
Yeah. Was like I was actually saying to somebody this morning that the last time wrestling made me this emotional, like good or bad, was when Edge was forced into retirement. Yeah. Like that was that was the last time that I actually felt this level of emotion.
Yeah. And not even Edge coming back.
And thankfully this time it's on a positive level. Do you know what I mean?
My only thing about this entire thing. Yeah. Imagine if we didn't know.
I know. Can you imagine?
That is the only thing. It's impossible these days.
If Tony Khan would have killed the internet for like 6 months, then
or just from WhatsApp because he's the one that leaked it.
That's true.
Just pay him off.
Don't get me wrong though. I get why these journalists, and they are journalists, I get why they do their job, right? But
to be fair.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was a planned leak.
No, of course.
Because it has drummed up so much interest. They filled that arena.
And they did actually say themselves that they kind of wanted people to know.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was a planned leak. If someone in AEW gave them the information.
However, at the same time, in my head, I'm like, part of me, because these journalists for wrestling are also wrestling fans in one way or another. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it, right? Yeah. So part of me, if I was a journalist, would be like, no, I'm going to hold this because I know what it means. But then it's also the thing of, and it's also the thing of if someone else gets it, they're going to put it out anyway, right? So so at that point, you might as well put it out. But man, how do you feel, Luke, after what we witnessed on Rampage?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I still.
You still don't believe it, do you?
No, it's going to take a while. It's honestly going to take a while for it to properly settle in, because I like.
It's like when you did that tweet. You did that tweet, and I replied with CM Punk waving. And even when I did that, I'm like, "Is this real?" Am I like? Even I was like, "Is this weird?"
We've never had anything like this.
Yeah.
We've had like people come back from injury.
Do you think? Because what I was actually thinking this morning is, it's actually bigger than I expected it to be. Like, I knew it was going to be big, and I knew it was going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where sometimes moments like this are big, but they're not unbelievable, right? This is unbelievable, and I don't quite understand what puts it on that level. Like, this is more unbelievable than Edge coming back, and that to me says a lot, because Edge actually had a career-ending injury for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, so it's more unbelievable because one, Punk stepped away. He didn't get taken out of it.
Yeah,
he stepped away.
And because he could have come back at any time, right? And yet he never has.
Yeah, in theory. Yeah. And every single year there was the CM Punk's going to return. There was always rumors and always bullshit.
Yeah. And it actually wound a lot of people up in the end, because they were like, "Why are we still talking about this guy?"
Like I said, there were people that just didn't like Punk for reasons.
And I think there were also people that just got to the point where they were like, "We need to move on now, because it's never going to happen." Yeah. I wonder how those people are feeling right now. I'd love to talk to someone.
To be fair, they're probably in our boat. If they were CM Punk fans, because they probably did the thing where it's like, they just accepted he was never going to come back and moved on.
Yeah.
I never quite did.
No,
anytime there was an interview, I'd always like watch it, and I'm like,
yeah, because I'm with you.
We've never had anything like this before.
I got to the point where I never would have expected it. However, it's not.
Even watching it before his music hit, I was still like, I'm not sure. No, it can't be. It can't be real. It can't. It's just bullshit. No, it can't be. It's like Adam Wilborn.
Yeah,
he was like that. John Moxley thing's a work.
I kind of want to go online and watch some reactions to that moment and just see.
I don't need to watch the reactions. I saw the live reaction. That's all I need.
Yeah,
because that pop was the pop was ridiculous. The only thing, and I've seen it, is actually on my screen now, is I wanted to go and find Ollie from Wrestle Talk.
Okay.
Finally get to go CM Punk to AEW confirmed. And he got to, and I'm like, I'm full. I'm done. I'm happy.
Imagine if he retires now.
I mean, like, he played it well. Like he just, like I said, there has been nothing like this.
Well, it's one of those. I actually saw, who was it? Adam Pacitti put out a tweet saying, like, an hour later, where he was saying, "I'm still shaking because it's so unbelievable."
Yeah.
And the fact that wrestling can give that level of emotion is crazy. Like, there was actually a shot when Punk was coming out of someone in the crowd who was crying, actually crying.
Yeah.
And it's weird because some people laugh at that shit, but to me, I'm always like, I think if you're someone who laughs at it, you just don't quite get it. You like, yes, these people are characters, but you do connect to them, right? Because
I mean, I think everyone has that thing though. It's like we'll find someone crying at a thing ridiculous.
Yeah, no, of course. But
it's just not in their realm. So I don't necessarily, I don't begrudge them by any means. It's just it's not their thing. They don't understand why it means so much, sort of thing.
Yeah, and this is kind of the thing. Is the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I actually saw quite a few people tweeting last night that they've never watched AEW and they didn't know this was happening because they haven't followed wrestling for a while.
Mm.
And I've seen quite a few tweets that have been like, okay, maybe I need to watch AEW now.
Yeah.
And that shows how much it means to people.
I think the closest we've had is when Brock came back.
Yeah. Because Brock definitely brought people back.
Yeah. But then this is still magnitudes ahead because
Brock this is Brock. The thing.
Brock was always like
beforehand, I was obviously comparing this. I was obviously comparing Punk and Bryan to Nash and Hall going to WCW back in the day, because I do think that is the comparison. The difference
I actually disagree.
Go on.
It's Kurt Angle going to TNA.
Yeah.
Except, bigger scope because AEW has more money.
And also not just that, but the difference is it's somebody coming back that we never thought would come back. It's not just someone leaving one company to go to the other company.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean, Edge very nearly did the same thing.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine if they would have had this moment with Edge as well? Like,
it would have been cool.
Like that would.
He wouldn't be called Edge.
No, that's the thing.
He'd probably just be Adam Copeland, which would be a bit shit.
Yeah.
Or it's Edge Cage, and he is actually Christian's brother. That sounds terrible.
The Edge.
Oh God, no.
That's where they'd go. That is where they'd go. Anyway, yeah, man. Like, to me, it feels like an earthquake happened last night on Rampage. In terms of,
I can't remember if I said it when we were recording, but what do WWE do?
Yeah, what do they do?
Because they cannot ignore it. They didn't ignore him. They didn't ignore Dynamite when it started.
No,
they obviously put NXT.
Do you think there are people in WWE who would have been shocked by this? Who would have been like, "Oh, we didn't actually think it was going to happen"? Because I'm sure some people knew.
Probably, but
I would have loved.
It got to the point where no one's shocked; they're just surprised to see it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's shocked at this point.
No, I don't think it's shocked, but I think it's almost like unbelievable, real, right?
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
I
would have loved to have seen Vince's face. I'm not gonna lie.
He doesn't give a shit.
Do you really think that's true?
I really do not think he gives a shit, and I think that's the problem. He's unprofessional in that regard. In that, if he doesn't like someone, it doesn't matter how much money they would make him, because CM Punk would make WWE a lot of money.
So dumb, right?
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's his ignorance.
Yeah,
I genuinely think he doesn't think that it matters.
Wow, he's nuts. He's nuts.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he's shocked, but I think it'd be less that he's shocked by Punk actually returning, more like you could feel the fucking fans from across. You could
feel the ground shaking. It's crazy stuff. Let us know, how did you feel about CM Punk's return?
Did you manage to get a t-shirt?
Did you get a t-shirt? Because I didn't get one, although I got charged for one, and then they didn't actually accept the order. So
I'll wait until next week.
So that's an odd situation. I will get one. I will definitely get one. Did you get a t-shirt? How long did it take you? And how do you feel deep down about CM Punk coming back? Because I don't think there will be something in wrestling again for a long time that makes any of us feel this way.
I think Bryan turning up would be awesome, but it's
not going to be on the same level, right?
No, the only way it would is if he was coming in after his neck injury and like WWE didn't let him wrestle, so he went. Yeah, for sure. That's the only way. But
so let us know. Huge. Let us know what you think. It is clobbering time once again.
One thing.
Go on.
I cannot wait for the AEW game.
Yeah, I know, man.
Because he has to be in it, right?
Oh, I know.
Because it's not going to be this year. It'll be next year. So
it's going to be next year
in
release now. Yeah,
Brian will probably be in it. Andrade's going to be in it. Malachi Black's going to be in it. It's going to be dope. Oh, it's going to be be an all-star.
So yeah, it is finally clobbering time once again. Let us know
almost
what you think of CM Punk.
He's not clobbering anybody just yet. But
no, but he might do.
Close.
He might get into some sort of scuffle on Dynamite. We will see.
Oh my god, he's going to team up with Sting and Darby before, right? So, fight 2.0.
So if you're looking forward to what CM Punk has to do on All Out and what he does weekly on Dynamite, please subscribe to this channel, because we will be here every week to react to whatever happens on AEW. And as I said, we also react to NXT, so you can check that out if you're an NXT fan. And we will be covering WWE pay-per-views as well, because they are still good.
I mean, NXT is going to be an interesting one, but for different reasons. Because there's a lot of change coming. So that's going to be an interesting one.
So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe. Don't forget to like the video, leave comments, because we will always interact. We're those kind of people. We don't just say leave comments and then not actually do anything.
Yeah, mine might be way later because I don't get notifications weirdly.
And we will see you next time. Goodbye.